It's time for the podcast. Yeah, the podcast is starting.
What's a podcast?
It's all gonna be alright in the end. It's gonna be alright. And if you've got some worries, my dear little friends, please rest your busy minds, because it's finally time for stories from now and then.
Hello and welcome back to Stories from Now and Then. My name is Captain Blunderface, and I'm here at the old library with Deprecatus.
Yeah, no, it's just a story, but also it transcends across all space and time. Anyway, you're listening to Shortwave Storywave. I'm Professor Bloopernoggin. Stay exponential.
Deprecatus, did you leave the shortwave radio on? Yeah, I want to hear the astronauts too, but what's this I'm hearing? Hello?
Hey, Cap.
Hi?
Cool. I see you're still doing the library thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, this is great.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Come on, Cap. I'm Professor Bloopernoggin of Shortwave Storywave. Like, hello, the Professor Bloopernoggin. Love the vibe in here, by the way. Very Ben Franklin. Very you.
Thanks?
Yup, just finished an episode of Shortwave Storywave on my sweet little radio setup.
Okay.
It's the best way to do a show.
Is that so?
Hey, is that like Deprecatus? Yeah, exactly, dude. Dude, I like you, Deprecatus. You just get it, dude. Dude, do you want to guest host Shortwave Storywave?
He doesn't love driving in the car that much.
Yeah, no, like your cat's communication talents are underused here, brah. Plus the name, Stories from Now and Again, is just very December 25 vibes, if you know what I mean, dude.
It's actually Now and Then. Shortwave Storywave. Don't you feel like that's a lot of wave? I don't think you need to say wave twice.
Dude, you can't have waves without waves, brah. Anyway, what are we doing here? Are we doing a shout out? Shout outs from now and again. Let's go!
Right. Okay. We do have a shout out, and today's shout out goes to Sybil and Evie, who are both 5.5 years old. They are twins, and they are from Chicago, Illinois. Sybil loves learning about space and the time of the dinosaurs, and Evie loves to swim and would like to hear more stories about famous swimmers. So Sybil and Evie, today's story is for you. And with that, it's high time we turn it over to Nicola for today's story. So it's all you.
Hey, Blunderface. I'm just gonna chill here and listen if that's cool, bro.
Sure, might as well.
Okay, another true story today. This story is as true and as real as the moon and stars in the night sky. This is the story of Caroline Herschel, the girl who counted the stars. Our story begins in a place called Hanover, Germany, where cobbled streets wind around brick and stone townhouses. Many, many years ago, in one of these houses lived a family of musicians. The father, Isaac Herschel, played the oboe beautifully, and the Herschel house was filled with lovely melodies. Little Caroline was born into this musical family in the year 1750. She had 4 older brothers and an older sister. She was number 6. Caroline loved her father deeply, and, unlike most fathers of that time, Isaac believed that his daughters should be educated just as much as his sons. Her mother, however, felt very differently. Caroline's mother believed that daughters should do nothing but household chores. She was quite firm about this. And so Caroline's mother made sure the girls' days were filled with work, knitting, cleaning, cooking, scrubbing. There was little time for learning, little time for asking questions and finding out answers. When Caroline was just a girl, her father had to leave to fight in the army. For years he was away, and Caroline's mother worked her harder than ever. Caroline became almost like a servant in her own home, doing endless household tasks and chores. Then, around the time that Caroline was 10 years old, 2 life-changing things happened. First, a terrible sickness struck her. It was typhus, a dreadful disease. She was very, very ill. When she recovered, she found that the sickness had changed her body. It had permanently stunted her growth, and it had affected her sight in one eye. But around this same time, her father returned home from the war. He was also sick and weak, and Caroline looked after him with lots of love and gentleness. During these years, her father continued to teach her what he could, giving her secret violin lessons and sharing stories about the stars. When Caroline was 17, her father died. The year was 1767, and she realized she could not spend the rest of her life as a servant to her mother. She was determined to take control of her own life. So she learned dressmaking, and she studied to become a governess so that she might earn her own wages and be independent. But her mother made everything difficult, demanding more work, more chores, making it hard for Caroline to study. Then one day, wonderful news arrived. Caroline's brother, William, who had left Hanover some years before, was now in England. He had become an organist and a music teacher in a beautiful city called Bath. "Caroline," he wrote, "come to me in England. I will train you to be a singer. You will perform with me, and you will run my household. Leave our mother. Come and live with me." This was Caroline's chance. In 1772, at the age of 22, Caroline Herschel left Hanover. Her mother was sad and protested, but Caroline was determined. William even hired a replacement servant for his mother so that she would let Caroline go. Caroline boarded a ship and sailed to England, leaving everything she knew behind. In Bath, Caroline's life blossomed in ways she never expected. William taught her English and the mathematics she had never been allowed to learn in Hanover. He also taught her singing, and she became quite good at it. In fact, she became excellent. She sang in church choirs and at concerts. She was the principal singer at her brother's concerts. But William now had a new passion. He was building telescopes, massive, powerful telescopes to look at the starry skies. And he was teaching her spherical trigonometry. That's the special mathematics you need to understand the movements of stars. Caroline was learning to calculate, to measure, to think like a scientist. In 1781, William looked through his telescope and saw something no human had ever seen before. A new planet. The world called it Uranus, and William became famous instantly. The king himself was impressed and gave William a salary to become a full-time astronomer. William gave Caroline her own telescope, and he showed her how to search the sky, sweeping back and forth in strips, looking for new objects. Now, every clear night, they worked together. William would look through his grand telescope and call out what he saw. Star, faint star, cluster, nebula, and Caroline would sit by a window inside the house, pen in hand, writing down every observation. She had to use old star catalogues to figure out exactly where William was pointing and perform tricky math problems to keep track of each star's position. William knew she was more than just a helper. He knew she had the mind of a true scientist. And in 1786, when they moved to a new observatory house in Slough, on August 1st, Caroline discovered her first comet. She was 36 years old. Over the next 11 years, between 1786 and 1797, Caroline discovered 8 comets. Now, while a woman named Maria Kirch had actually spotted a comet decades earlier in 1702, her husband had taken the credit. Caroline, therefore, became the first woman to be officially recognized and widely celebrated for discovering a comet. Newspapers wrote about her, scientists across Europe knew her name. King George III was so impressed that in 1787 he gave her a salary of £50 a year, the first official government position ever held by a woman in England. She was the first woman ever to be paid for her work in astronomy. For many years after that, Caroline worked on a new project. She took an old star catalogue made by a man named Flamsteed and corrected it, cross-referenced it, organised it. She created an index of more than 500 stars that had been forgotten or left out. This work took her 2 whole years, but when it was done and presented to the Royal Society in 1798, it was recognised as a magnificent achievement. And then, for 25 years, Caroline stepped back from her own discoveries. She helped her brother. She became close to her nephew, John, and she taught him about the stars. She saw him become a great scientist too. In 1822, William died. Caroline was heartbroken. She had devoted her entire adult life to supporting him, and now he was gone. So she decided to return to Hanover, to the town where she was born. It was a difficult decision. The architecture of Hanover made observations impossible, and she missed being able to study the sky. But she was able to work on a new catalogue, arranging 2,500 nebulae and star clusters in an organised way so that her nephew John could continue the family's astronomical work. When she was 83 years old, her nephew John visited her and wrote in his diary, "She runs about the town with me and skips up her 2 flights of stairs. In the morning, till 11 or 12, she is dull and weary, but as the day advances, she gains life and is quite fresh and funny at 10 p.m. and sings old rhymes, nay, even dances." In 1828, the Royal Astronomical Society awarded Caroline their gold medal for her work, a medal given to only the greatest scientists in the world. In 1835, she and a woman called Mary Somerville became the first women ever elected as honorary members of the Royal Astronomical Society. When Caroline turned 96 years old, she received a letter from the King of Prussia. It said, "His Majesty the King of Prussia, in recognition of the valuable service rendered to astronomy by you, as the fellow worker of your immortal brother, wishes to convey to you, in his name, the large gold medal for science." And on her 97th birthday, Caroline entertained the Crown Prince and Princess for 2 hours, singing to them a composition her beloved brother William had written. Caroline Herschel lived for 97 years. She died peacefully in Hanover on January 9th, 1848. In her honor, a minor planet was named Lucretia, her middle name, a fitting tribute to one who had contributed so much to our understanding of the heavens. And somewhere out there, in the deep, dark sky, are 8 comets bearing her name. What a beautiful story of a beautiful life. I hope you enjoyed this story of Caroline Herschel and the music and the mathematics and the mysteries of the heavens that she spent her life uncovering. I'm going to leave you with some advice from a very wise friend of mine who once told me, "You know, Nicola, if you ever feel overwhelmed by life, spend more time with the stars." All right, Captain, back to you.
Thanks, Nicola, for that amazing story.
My dude, you know what? This was actually pretty fun. Maybe you're onto something, dude. Yeah, little dude, I guess you're right. This library is pretty cool, I guess. You guys should totally come to Shortwave Storywave sometime. Or cover for me when I'm at the Vocal Fry convention.
Well, thank you, Professor. It's been great to have you. I think we'd love to try that. Sure. Stories from Now and Then is narrated by the amazing Nicola Ward, music by Captain Blunderface, Professor Bloopernoggin, played by Adam Gellman. The story of Caroline Herschel was written and adapted for the Old Library by Nicola Ward and Evan Wiebe. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we will see you all next time on
Shout-outs from Now and Again. Let's go!
Adam, you did a great job. What do you guys think? Shortwave, storywave. Should we make it a real thing? Let us know in the comments. Or just smash the like button on this thing, you know? I don't think podcasts actually have likes. You can't really do that.
Stories from now and then.